La maison la plus chère du monde en Normandie. C'est à côté de chez moi, là. Pour le coup, je peux y être en 20 minutes, je pense. Ça, c'est le police de Golemont, je crois, c'est pour... Poisson d'avril, hein.
The top out-of-sight class. Those with immense wealth who live in private luxury, barely glimpsed by the average civilian. This is old money that echoes across generations, weaving the fabric of our collective history and forming the very institutions of our modern world.
Mais c'est juste un château de Versailles bis qui est achetable, en gros. Ah ouais.
Welcome to Château du Champ de Bataille.
Château du Champ de Bétail.
One of the most expensive homes in the entire world. We're here in Normandy, France, where behind me.
Oui, mais le prix.
That's right. That is one of the most expensive homes ever in the world. And in this episode, we're getting a tour of the house, the property, the whole thing. This is the largest private garden in all of Europe, and it's actually so big that we need a golf cart to tour the space. Bonjour. This is Zachary with Barnes International, and he will be touring us around the grounds.
Bonjour à tous, welcome everyone.
All right, let's roll.
Let's go.
So the estate encompasses over 300 acres of land, consisting of 6 main structures on the property that we'll be touring. The grotto and the Indian palace. We've got the main chateau and the gardens.
Ah, mais il y a plusieurs propriétés sur la propriété. Ok, bah ouais, normal en fait, ça me paraît logique. Hein. Mais l'intérieur du château, je pense qu'il est mid. Hein. Ouais.
And to reveal the price tag of this listing, we need to understand the history. Château de
Je m'en bats les couilles de
starting our
l'histoire.
tour here in the formal gardens, which are absolutely colossal. So we're now at the center of the property.
Yeah.
What's the significance about this behind me?
So the exact place where we are now, it's the perfect middle of the castle. That means there is 500 meters on that part and 500 also on this one.
So back in 1992, all of what we're looking at right now was just an overgrown field lost to time. Until Jacques found the original garden design plans in the chateau. He then excavated and recreated these gardens exactly how they would have been almost 400 years ago. First, he dug a 550-meter-long canal, which is definitely a defining feature of the property, to feed the vast network of elaborate fountains and water features, such as this.
J'ai surtout envie de voir l'intérieur, moi.
These gilded statues of dolphins emerging from the sea, surrounding an ornate globe rising.
Il y a un théâtre grec.
There's also a theater here.
Yeah. So it's
c'est un théâtre
inspired
grec?
by a Greek temple because during the 17th century in Europe, the archaeologists they just discovered all the Greek temple and everything, so that they were trying to reproduce it in all the biggest home like this.
Mais là, pourquoi ça sert à quoi là en fait? C'est stylé de ouf, hein, mais ça sert à quoi là?
So, for example.
Wow.
Tu peux même pas t'asseoir.
When they discovered the Greek theater, the wealthiest of the wealthiest wanted to say, "Hey, I want to have a Greek theater at my home."
Yeah, because for them it was amazing this
discovery.
It was completely new. They didn't knew this was existing because it was like almost 1,000 years before them.
Mm-hmm.
There is an Indian temple,
Indian palais in French.
There's an Indian palais on the property.
Alors là, je l'ai pas.
Essentially, Jacques brought in, I believe, was what, 5 containers?
600.
600
Ils sont sur une barque.
Of actual materials from India to build this palace.
In 1992.
In 1992. Apparently he has parties where he brings in elephants, lions, tigers, and bears.
And the only way to go from here to the Indian Palais is this boat.
I mean, you could walk around, but
Ah
we're gonna take
ouais?
a boat. So this is the Indian Palais.
Yeah, the Indian Palais, and all of what you see here is really from India. It's not a replica. Jacques Garcia, the owner, he brought all of this by shipping containers.
I'm at a loss for words for how large the scale of his thinking.
Bon, à votre avis, louer une nuit dans cet endroit-là, ça coûte combien? Une
The
seule.
fact that, like, it looks like we walked into India. It looks like we are in India right now. So there's a house in the Indian palace,
Yeah,
right?
Jacques, when he
Deux
come
cas.
here,
Et
he's living
loin du
there.
compte, mon gars.
Welcome to the living
Et
room
loin
of
du
the
compte.
Indian Palais, and just take a look around. It's one thing to hear 500 shipping containers, but to see all of the artifacts, like, come look at this. Look at this leopard. Look at this thing. I don't really have words for this, also because we don't know the value of everything. I want to mention that in the price point of this chateau, I believe we were told there's $1 million worth of art alone in the chateau. And you can see just from around me, we have, look at this chair. I don't want to touch anything either. Hookah lounge.
En vrai, j'ai bien envie de me
my
poser là-bas un
gosh.
petit après-midi détente,
What?
tu vois.
You know that's real too. There's no way that's fake. What's the most impressive is a lot of times I see homes where people have a theme and it's replications or knockoffs. But the fact that this is all
Ça me fait penser, il y a des trucs à Paris, des hôtels, ils font des concons que tu peux louer pendant l'après-midi, genre juste tu vas te poser dedans. Et ça ressemble, bon, c'est beaucoup plus petit que ça, hein. Mais t'es tellement bien à l'intérieur, franchement, c'est tellement doux. Je l'avais fait une fois, je l'avais fait pour la dernière Saint-Valentin, franchement, oh là là. L'après-midi, il était doux, hein. Posé, il nous ramenait des sucreries, chocolat chaud. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Il faudrait que je refasse ça, hein.
legitimate historical antiques is just, man, it's beyond my pay grade. I don't even know what to say about this. Just look at all these artifacts.
Have you already seen a property like this before?
Not. Yes.
Plus classique, plus moderne.
Oh my gosh. Look at this.
Il y a quoi ça? C'est une chambre avec une piscine intérieure. Ah non, c'est pas une chambre. Ah ouais. Mais en fait, tu vis vraiment comme un roi. Putain, j'ai besoin de ce lifestyle en fait.
Apparently you can walk around.
J'ai vraiment besoin de ce lifestyle, hein.
Like if you wanted to come here and dive in, there's a hallway that goes around the entire pool. We're now checking out some of the bedrooms. Apparently there's 10 bedrooms in the Indian Palace. Just look at
Mais du coup, ça, c'est même pas un cinquième de la propriété, c'est tout ça. C'est déjà une villa.
sleep with that.
Il y a 10 chambres dans l'Indian Palace.
Zachary went back this way. We're gonna find him now. Like, look at the tapestries here. Another little library sitting area. More tapestries.
Ouh là là. Je sais pas si c'est le mur qui est effrité ou si c'est un dessin dessus. J'arrive pas à voir. J'espère que c'est pas effrité là. Non, ça m'a plus l'air d'être artistique. Ouais, j'ai laissé passer, ouais.
A never-ending hallway. At the end of the hall, this is one of the bedrooms.
Wow.
Again, everything imported in from India. It's all historic. And look at this bathroom.
Et ça vient d'Inde directement en plus.
By this
Putain.
solid stone soaking tub here in the middle.
Ah, j'avais pas capté que c'était une baignoire.
Am I having a hard time fathoming how someone over the course of 30 years brought all this here and planned all this out? Also, like, I'm afraid to bump into anything by accident just because, like we mentioned, the price dollars, but it could be more than that just
Ils
because
sont
all
sur
the
le
art
prix
hasn't
depuis tout à
really
l'heure.
been
Pourquoi?
evaluated.
Ok.
And now we're gonna go check out, well, wait till you see this. So I was told that this is the swimming pool. The swimming pool is 100 meters long, so that is 2 Olympic-length swimming pools. And the cost to turn on these fountains is apparently 20,000 euro, just to turn on and run the fountains here. I'm truly.
Pour rallumer et faire tourner les fontaines, c'est 20 000 pétards. Tu te fous de ma gueule. Oui, et puis quoi encore? Et puis quoi encore?
You could have a jet ski in here. That's how large this is. And we haven't even seen the main chateau yet. This is just one palace on the land.
Du coup, ça, c'était juste la zone là-haut. Il y a eu ça, il y a la greenhouse et il y a la grotto.
Right across from
Il y a une
the
grotte.
palais is the grotto. Now, in 2020, during the pandemic, the owner got bored. And while all of us were in our homes, quarantining, watching the news, he built a grotto with a waterfall cascading down volcanic lava rock, which leads down into. Our guide actually took us down here last night. Check this out at nighttime. All right. We've been kidnapped.
This is Ghost Hunters.
Oh.
Guys, we're going into the grotto.
We're staying overnight in the castle. We're ready.
All right, flashlights off.
Actually good lights here.
Yeah.
Now it's turning into a
What the hell?
C'est une blague.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
Quel genre de cérémonie louche il doit se passer dans ce truc-là, là? Quel genre de cérémonie louche? Oh non, c'est une salle de boss.
COVID, he was like bored and he didn't know what to do. And so
Il a fait ça parce qu'il se faisait chier pendant le Covid. C'est qui? Elle est à qui? Elle est à quel milliardaire français, là? C'est à Bernard Arnault? C'est à Bolloré? Quel enculé encore, là?
idea came up
He made
of
a grotto.
making this place, yeah.
You did that too during COVID, right?
Oh yeah.
In the daytime, it's a bit different. So you head on down into this, I don't even know what you would call this, to this
Wow.
temple-like grotto. I mean, the ceilings in here are at least 50 feet. It has a dead center circle in the middle, and all around me are the statues of Greek gods with mirrors behind them, all petrified wood here, lining the columns, supporting the structure, with again that volcanic stone built in around the statues here. The outside
Non, mais
acres
genre.
of gardens that we've toured so far, we haven't
Il y a
even
une
seen the
serre.
castle. We're about to enter what they call the greenhouse.
Je suis fou de ma gueule. Non, en vrai, il utilise bien son argent. Hein. Si j'avais des milliards et des milliards, j'aurais fait un truc pareil aussi. Hein. Juste pour flex. Hein.
I haven't seen it yet, so we're gonna get my reactions. Apparently, this is the spot. So here we go.
Ready, cheer.
Oh my god. So this is the room off of the entrance where we have all these blue vases and just more art. More art from
Ok,
all
pour
around
l'instant,
the
pas
world.
impressionné.
On either side, I didn't think it would be this. There's a floating bridge with waterfalls
Ok.
on either side with tropical
Là, c'est
plants
juste le jardin des
everywhere.
plantes.
What the? This is insane. This is crazy. The trees are growing out of the stonework. There's sculptures everywhere. There's trees growing out of the floor with holes cut in the carpet here with this statue of, I don't even know what, but holy crap. This is just ridiculous. And apparently, I was told that the piano right behind me here, this is Steinway's piano. So you know Steinway and Sons? This is not the Sons, this is his original piano.
Le piano originel de la...
Wow.
Ok. C'est vrai que c'était une marque, mais du coup, le piano originel du gars qui a créé la marque, il l'a chez lui.
This is crazy. So this is actually, how much does this cost? And I was told that these ferns here, these ferns are apparently 400 years old, which is as old as the castle itself. This is incredible. Okay, let's say hi to everyone. So this is the whole team. It's not just me walking around here.
Je m'en fiche de la team, hein, je vais pas te mentir.
We're
Il
actually
va dans le
spending the
château.
night at the castle. I wouldn't say it's scary.
Terrifying.
Le château, franchement, j'ai l'impression il est mis de l'intérieur.
A floor lamp just because it was so dark in here.
Moi, je préfère l'intérieur de chez moi.
All right, it's now the next morning. Not the best sleep of my life, but not the worst. I'm looking for some coffee.
Ouais.
Day 2 at the chateau. Dressed back up, had my... So right in the entry, we have the royal foyer here with all this stone on the ground, the columns. The home was built in 1651 and took 10 years to complete. It has 40 bedrooms, 5 living rooms,
40
2
chambres.
dining rooms. The square footage,
5
they don't
salons.
even know. And we're only actually touring 1/4 of this castle. This side over here is private. The owner lives on this side, so we're touring, I guess you could call it the public side, but it's still pretty crazy. Let's start heading up the stairs off of the foyer. Look at this stairwell. Like triple width stairwell here. Look at this stonework, the wrought iron railings.
Ok, pour l'instant, c'est
Stairwell,
mignon.
if I have ever seen one. So onto the second floor here, we're gonna head off to my right. I mean, and I wanna also point out the artifacts. I'm not gonna actually touch this because it took 30 years to collect all the art in here. And again, I wanna mention the art is worth north of $1 million. Off of the stairwell, welcome to the
ouais,
formal
ouais.
dining room reception
Les salles à manger
area.
dans
This is
Succession,
where
ça.
the king would greet his guests. It's also where they would feast. You notice all the silverware. I want to point out again, everything in here is authentic. For example, these 4 vases here were gifted to Napoleon by the King of Sweden. And they're here in this house. As we go
Cap. Ma bite. Et il les a mis juste comme as dans la baraque. Tiens, décore ce salon-là avec ça. Ma bite.
and everything in here is authentic.
Ma
For
bite.
example, these 4 vases here were gifted to Napoleon by the King of Sweden. And they're here in this house. As we go out throughout the home, we'll point out a few more artifacts. But this is the entertaining room for when your guests arrive to the chateau. You've got views there to the south, the north of the courtyard, Juliet balconies. The ceilings are about 30 feet high or 10 meters, and you can just see the scale of this room. It is massive. Now from the dining room, we've got your parlor or your great room here, and this is decorated in typical 17th century French decor. Again, everything you see in here is authentic. For example, this is a portrait of Marie Antoinette young, and then on the other side of Marie Antoinette old. This over here is actually the wheelchair of Marie Antoinette's son. His actual wheelchair. He had a disability, and this is what he used to get around. And that's actually a painting of him right above here. I want to also point out that the typical French living room in the 17th century was decorated like this, where it's the opposite of minimalism. Every piece of the wall is covered in art, the furniture from the formal living room. We've got the pool
C'est
hall.
quoi cette
And
peinture
this
à
is an
gauche là?
original pool table from Louis XIV. His
Je
doctor
vais dire, ah bah il y a juste un truc de billard. Ah non, en fait, c'est jamais juste un truc de billard. Elle était à Louis XIV. Table de billard de Louis XIV? Oui, bah ouais, ok.
pool hall. And this is an original pool table from Louis XIV. His doctor actually prescribed that after he ate to play pool to help with his indigestion. And this is his original table here, just chilling in the chateau. Then at the end here, again, this typically is closed off because this is actually where the owner of the chateau is living full time. So unfortunately, we can't tour that. If we look behind me, you can really see the entire length of this chateau here. And again, let's walk and talk. They actually don't even know the square meters or the square feet of this castle. So formal living room, back into your dining room. And again, we don't know the actual square footage of the chateau. I would guess anywhere from 60 to 80,000 square feet. Off of the formal dining room, we're back to the main stairwell area. And this is the ballroom in the chateau.
Une salle
If you
de
look up all
bal.
the artwork on the ceiling, you have beautiful crown molding. This is all
Vas-y, je
gold.
comprends plus rien, moi.
That's
Ça, c'est des niveaux de richesse, je veux pas comprendre.
dollars. Artwork on the wood-burning fireplace because back in the office,
Il y a que des
King
portraits,
Right
des
here,
œuvres
from
d'art.
Imperial Japan. The artifacts, king of the chateau slept right here. For instance, as
Le lit, il a l'air tellement pas confortable. Lui, il a l'air dur. C'est un set daily, le lit, wesh.
As far as the artifacts, these two boxes on either side are from Imperial Japan. That's original
Des boîtes du Japon impérial.
silver there with the artwork on those boxes here. Over
Il y a
top,
quel loot dedans?
crystal chandelier, fireplace. Again, just look at the gold leafing detail here on every single wall. Super impressive. Leaving the king's bedroom, back on through his private hallway, into the study room, right off of here. This is pretty wild. Welcome to your double height ceilinged library here in the chateau. Take a look at this. There's over 20,000 rare books in here. You've got catwalks surrounding the library in the second
Là où ça, c'est méchant. Là où ça, c'est méchant, je peux même pas faire le hater sur ça.
floor,
Là où ça, c'est méchant de
open
ouf.
to the floor down below. 20,000
Bibliothèque sur
historical
2
books in here.
étages avec que des livres
And at either
poussiéreux
of the library,
et des anciens manuscrits, c'est pas ce qui est écrit dedans.
this is an actual human body mummified from Egypt in this house in France.
Il y a des momies
That is wild.
d'Égypte.
I even saw voodoo dolls at that end, and these look like spell books. So it's
Là, les
there's no word for
artefacts
this.
qu'il a dans sa
That's
baraque.
why it's truly like you can't put a price on this. And with that said, we don't actually know the true value of this estate. We can only guess.
T'as une
There's
momie
also
d'Égypte chez Watt.
hidden doors throughout the entire home, and these are only the ones that we've been
Il
showing.
y a une
Show you
porte
the line there.
secrète.
Check out what's behind here. This is the game room where we have an ostrich skeleton.
La pièce de jeu. Pièce de
mummified
jeu, hein.
from Egypt. So, and door skeleton.
Ah ouais,
I
hein.
haven't even gone up here yet, and I'm curious. Let's check out what's up here. The whole
Descends
wall
un peu en
lined
bas,
with
ça, il y a un
shelves.
tunnel qui mène
We're
à
going
un.
up into
On
one of
sait
the
très
towers
bien.
of the chateau. And now we're just. Oh, there's no lights in
Non,
there.
mais
I'm
t'as
not
une-
going in there.
T'as une pièce secrète
Come
qui
on,
mène
let's
à
check
un
out.
escalier. Je sais pas ce qu'il y a sur les murs là, mais ça, je sais que c'est une carapace d'une tortue qui appartenait à Genghis Khan ou un truc de merde comme as, frère.
Got some pheasants. What the heck? This is actually crazy. Could you imagine? Look at this. Could you imagine if this was your bedroom? And to get to your bedroom, you had to walk through the game room, through the secret passageway in the library. Again, there's 40 bedrooms in this house. This is one of 40. You saw the king's room. Check out the bath.
Vas-y, ça c'est les chambres. Les chambres. J'aime pas ce genre de chambre, moi, personnellement.
Bathroom. A tub
J'aime pas cette
Fit for
esthétique
royalty
France
with a view.
17e.
of the gardens here.
Et même
Ah,
là,
mais ça,
la salle de bain, elle m'ambiance pas, là. Elle m'ambiance pas.
And it's tough because we can't really show you every single bedroom. Like this is the blueprint of the castle here on the wall. You can just see how large it is. I honestly think it's probably more than 60 to 80,000 square feet. I'm thinking closer to 100,000 because there's rooms that I'm sure we will not even see or have access to. So up this stairwell, there's another wing where there's more bedrooms, but we're gonna head back down past all these dead beetles and turtle
Carabée.
shells. I want to point out also, like, I was kind of
On a
it's
plein
kind of
d'autres, des
jarring to
trucs
see
de
all this. It's a
tortue.
bit antiquated having dead animals on your wall like this, but I guess back in the day, in the 17th century.
Il y en a plein des trucs de tortue, en fait,
norm?
wesh.
All right, finally back downstairs. There's just so much here. Oh, we're locked. Yeah, we're locked. We have to go back the other way. All right, we made our way back down. We're now at the lower level of the library. So if you look up, you can see the wraparound balcony and just the height of the ceiling in here. And again, these are all books from the mainly 18th and 19th century. Lots again of French Revolution pieces. Now out of the library, there's a back hallway which connects the front hallway here, which we're gonna go to right now, where we left off upstairs when we were locked up there in the dead zoo, I guess you could call this. Not gonna show too much of this, but maybe just a little quick shot down this hallway
Ça doit être des véritables animaux empaillés en plus, un
to
peu
get the
partout.
perspective of the dead zoo. Pretty
Ah
gnarly.
ouais.
And this is
Ah ouais.
for perspective.
Ah ouais.
For perspective, we were up there and this was locked. So if we continue on, There's a little room here. I'm not even sure what this is for, but
C'est
this
quoi ici, là?
is the chapel in the chateau. This is a
Il a sa
proper
petite chapelle
church
personnelle. Ok.
that just happens to be in the chateau. Again, you got the double height ceilings here. Got the altar, all these religious relics in here. And I'm not going to begin to even try to explain any of this just because I really don't even know. And I feel like most people here don't know because there's just so much. There's so many artifacts from all over the world. And just, I don't really have much to say about this part. It's really intense. The dead zoo, animals from all over the world mounted in this hallway. Comment down below what you think of this. It's pretty intense. But now we're back to the main foyer right there. And what's down this door is actually pretty crazy. So we're now going subterranean in the chateau. And as you come down here, instantly it's like 5 to 10 degrees cooler than upstairs. And this is where the kitchen is in the chateau, because back in the day, kitchens weren't something that you would show off. The kitchen was below the home where you would store the firewood. You've got the pans here. They even have those subterranean windows so you can let in light. And if you peek in here, this is traditionally what it would be like and where the staff would be living, because it is the warmest part of the house.
La cuisine, comment elle est trop éteinte.
And I was told that
c'est partie de la cuisine. Ah, mais c'est genre les domestiques, ils viennent grailler là, ils viennent se poser là et tout.
In these chateaux was here in the kitchen, so that's why someone would be sleeping here at all times.
Ça, c'est la cuisine. Ah ouais, elle est vraiment archaïque, la cuisine. Hein. Ah ouais, elle est archaïque de ouf.
In case things went crazy, but this is set up in the way it would be in 1650. And then if we continue on, the ceiling gets a little lower. There's another area over here where you would be butchering your meat. You have all the quail hanging, a boar for dinner. Going even further back, getting even colder. This is the wine storage here, an actual wine cellar. And at the very end, this is pretty crazy. This is where you would store your fruit from the summer. So you would harvest all your apples in the fall, bring them down here for the winter, and they would stay preserved just because the temperatures are so cool. And then even in this room, there's a fireplace to heat the place. And then there's actually another stairwell at the back of the kitchen, which leads us up. And instantly it gets warmer. It's pretty incredible how the subterranean kitchen actually cools the food. And now we're back where we were by the chapel. And
Pourquoi ils sont revenus au début là?
For reference, we're back in the foyer. That's the front door. This is the back door, which leads into the chateau courtyard.
Mais du coup, ils ont visité que un tiers du château là, l'autre partie ils peuvent pas.
Large this courtyard is in comparison to a human, or even had the car pulling up earlier. And here you get the true perspective of the chateau. So behind me, that's where we're sleeping. That's actually for rent. So you can actually rent those rooms out and stay here. There's a restaurant off to the left here. And then behind me, this is where the owner lives. So we haven't even toured this entire wing, and we haven't even toured the wing behind us here for a perspective of just how freaking huge this chateau is. Of everything we've seen, what was the craziest, the most impressive, the most beautiful thing that you saw? Again, I want to thank the teams at Barnes International for giving us the opportunity to come out here to Normandy and share something that no one has really seen up until this point. If you're new here, subscribe, give the video a like, and with that, we will see you in the next video.
Le tarif pour le visiter... Qui a parlé de visiter, là? Je ne parle pas de... Bla, 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 bla. Valeur immobilière. Le château lui-même d'Atta est un monument historique. 45 hectares de jardin. Les châteaux de cette envergure. Mais je parle pas des châteaux de cette envergure, je parle de lui. Si vous voulez vendre le château plus le jardin, plus le mobilier, plus l'œuvre d'art, ce sera entre 100 et 300 millions. C'est tout? Soit ChatGPT est con, soit la vidéo nous ment. Hein. Je pense plus que c'est ChatGPT qui est con. Et du coup, c'est Jacques Garcia qui a tout ça, là? C'est qui Jacques Garcia? Architecte d'intérieur. Du coup, il l'a rénové et tout, 1947. Ah ouais, il en a des hôtels. Hein. Ah ouais, il en a des hôtels. Hein. Il a quel âge? Il a 77 ans. Il a une descendance ou pas? Je devine qu'il a des enfants. Hein. Malakoff. Ça me fait penser à un truc, Malakoff, ça vient d'où? Une ville? C'est une ville en Île-de-France, Malakoff. Ok, ça a son nom, c'est quand même dingue. Hein. Quand même dingue. Bon. J'avais une autre vidéo d'ouvert, je pense qu'on la fera une prochaine.